Hello and welcome to Optimal Game State. So today, hopefully we'll have what's a quick video. Although if you've watched this channel before, you know anytime I say that it tends to extend into like a full hour. But hopefully we'll be able to trim that down. In this video, I am going to be testing out playing through a game of joint operations with Killteam. So in the last Killteam video I did, and the previous Killteam video, we looked at the rules, and the most recent one we made a few changes and we updated a couple of things. So that rules pack for those changes is currently up on Patreon. There'll be a link in the notes. It's a free Patreon. I don't give any benefits for people who actually pay money, and I disencourage it. So right now it's just a handy place to post stuff that I want to share with people who listen to the channel. So yeah, that's there if you want to check it out. There are a few things about it that I do want to talk about briefly. So I have changed some of the targeting rules, a couple of the ways that you pick your operatives, and this bit here. So here we're talking about how the game is played. So when this intercessor is shooting at this termagant, they roll their 4 dice, and then the defender rolls their 3 dice. So there's that back and forth. And then obviously, if they're going to be doing it the other way, I think I roll these dice in a second to do it the other way, you'll be rolling your whatever dice it is for the termagant to attack, and then 3 dice for the intercessor to defend. So when you're doing it solo play, there's a lot of dice rolling on both sides, which in my proposal, we've taken away, we've reduced. So in this, you can see you need 3 to succeed, and so this is a tie. So the 3 and a 4 are both hits, and then the termagant has got 2 6s, which are 2 crit saves, which don't really matter, but basically no damage is done. Now the proposal is instead you just have flat saves for all of the NPOs, so all of the bad guys. You're not ever going to roll for them. They're just going to automatically get certain saves. So at this level, so this is the trooper, which is the lowest level, they are going to get 1 automatic save. Then if the next step up, which is the tougher warrior, they're going to get 1 automatic crit. With 1 crit save is better than 1 normal save. And then the heavy, which is the biggest one, is going to get 2 automatic saves. Now, if you're behind cover, they're going to get an extra save. If they're shooting and there's intervening terrain, the shooter is going to lose a hit. So yeah, here's where we're kind of doing it to tally it up. So that roll was just to show that you're defending for 3. But we also wanted to do it with the attacks. So we've also got static attacks for the NPOs. So normally, if you were playing by the book rules, the firearm is 4 dice, 4 pluses, doing 2s and 3s. But instead here, what we're doing is we're just automatically giving it 2, and then it is going to be the active player, the Space Marine, the human, who is going to be rolling the dice all the time. So we've got flat attacks, flat damages, flat hits, and we're doing the exact same for assaults. So here we have a Hormagaunt. When this Hormagaunt charges in, with the old rules, it would have 4 dice, 4 plus, doing 3s and 4s. Instead, we're going to give it 2 automatic hits in melee combat, and it's going to do 3 damage each time. So then all we have is we have the Space Marine player, so the active player, roll their dice and then work out basically what's happening there. So I'm going to be playing through this game, and I'm going to be using these modified rules. So it's not too much of a variance from what we have in the core book. And I will say I've really, really enjoyed my core book. It is very well laid out. I'm a big fan of the weapon rules being at the back and easy to get my hands on. And anytime I've looked for anything for clarification, it's been very well laid out. So I've been very, very happy with that. The kill team I'm going to be taking in is going to be our Angels of Death. This is a Death Wash variant of it, of course. Starting at the left, we have our... I'm throwing names. So this is Brother Scipio. So this is going to be their Intercessor Sergeant. He has a auto-bolt rifle, and he has a power weapon. Then we've got Brother Germanicus from the Ultramarines, who is a heavy weapon enjoyer. So that is a Intercessor Gunner. Then our Brother Volsong is the Assault Grenadier. Used to be, I'll talk about that later. Raziel is a normal Intercessor Warrior, but does have the Stalker Bolt Rifle. Then we have Raphael. Oh, that's from the Dark Angels. We have Raphael from the Blood Angels. So this is actually just a normal assault intercessor. So nothing special. And then last, that was from the Blood Angels. And then last, we have Brother Cameron coming from the Storm Wardens. So this is, again, another normal intercessor warrior, this time with just the normal bolt rifle. The Storm Heralds are from one of the old Fantasy Flight RPGs. So often when Games Workshop give license to produce stuff, they'll often give a small sector of space that an area can develop with. So currently Cubicle 7 have two different ones on the go. So they do have the Wrath and Glory RPG, which is set in the Gilead system, and they've got the Absolvers Space Marines. And then Imperium Maledictum, which is another one, which is slowly developing, has an entire sector of space. I forget which one it is. But they haven't really focused anything on the Space Marines yet. Anyway, the point is, this is an old RPG group. Each of these fighters was played by one of my friends, except for Scipio, who is essentially a stand-in for the GM for me. So hence the Black Templars. So yeah, I'm quite attached to this, even though there isn't a heavy gunner and there isn't or the option of an eliminator. So it's a little bit weaker in power than maybe the Angels of Death should be. But it's a bit of fun. That's what we're here for. They are facing up against this Tyrannid. I'm sure I know people when I say it wrong. Swarm. So this is some of the combat patrol models at the back, and there's two of them. Two of the gaunts in here are actually store monthly models that I bought and painted, and then everything else is stuff that I've been rushing through to try get ready for this. So there are, what do we have on the left? We've got 5 Termagants. On the right, we've got 5 Hormagants. So these are both going to be the trooper level, so the lowest level of MPOs. They are going to be Trooper Brawler and Trooper Marksman. So they have 7 wounds, move 6, 2 APL, and then for damage, as I said, reduced strike damage, but it is going to be, they get 2 automatic hits each, whether that's in melee or ranged. Obviously, the Hormagants don't have range, they just have the melee. And the Hormagants are doing 3 damage, whereas the Hormagants are doing 2. Then at the back, we have the Winged Tyranid Prime, which is stepping in as a heavy brawler. So that's the really, really scary one. So that's automatically it's got 40 wounds. It's got 2 automatic saves, 3 APL, which is the big one. It has 3 automatic hits, which each hit doing 4 damage. So if it's all unblocked, it's just going to do 12 damage, which is going to hurt most things. Then at either side, we've got Von Ryan's Leapers, and these are going to be standing in for 2 Brawler Toughs. So 10 wounds. The save is 1 automatic crit, and then the melee is 2 automatic 4 damage hits. So quite scary. So this is a very melee-orientated group, kill team, which I felt made sense. And part of the reason I'm doing this is I do eventually want to try get a 3 Ultramarines versus a bunch of Tyranids and get that Space Marine 2 vibe going. So I had the models I had straight away. I don't have any Ultramarines beyond, I guess, Germanicus in his Death Watch form. This is the closest that I've got. The scenario we are going to be taking is the second mission in the joint operations. So it is Sabotage. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. So 1 is called Breach. You're just supposed to kill everything. 3 is Escape, where you're just trying to move off. Yeah. And then this one, I think, was the more interesting one. I would recommend playing this one over the others, to be honest. I think this one certainly has a lot more going for it. In the middle, at the back, you can see those tokens for 1, 2, and 3. Those are the objectives, the mission objectives. Now, victory is if each of those markers is sabotaged, the battle ends and the players win. Otherwise, if all the operatives are incapacitated, pointing at things, let me get back to that. If they're all incapacitated, then the battle ends and the players lose. So it is either we all die or we manage to get the objectives. So to be honest, chance that we're going to be able to get those objectives, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. The action you have is called Sabotage. So you can only perform it while within control range of the objective marker. And is that it? Okay, so you cannot perform the action on the first turning point, fair enough, while within control range of any objective, fair enough, or if that objective marker has already been sabotaged. Okay. Yeah, that all makes sense, I guess. The board is some of the old terrain, obviously, and the cotton wool buds. I didn't turn them on, but they've got little night lights underneath them. So they're kind of fun little smoke tokens, which tend to be quite handy and just, I don't know, they look good. For the terrain, there's a lot of windows in these. I'm just going to treat it as all blocking. We're not going to be shooting through windows. We're going to be shooting around windows a lot of the time, but not through any of the blocks. We're not going to worry about that. Trying to keep this as simple as we can. Do we have anything else to note? Oh, yes. So at the back left, you might be able to see a tiny little red cross token. And there is another one hidden away behind that Mechanicum reactor. Those are respawn points. Those are reinforcement markers. They are where each strategy phase, if half the MPOs are incapacitated, they call for reinforcements as a strategic gambit. Randomly select 2 incapacitated MPOs, excluding heavies, or 1 incapacitated heavy MPO. Set them up with a conceal order and in cover if possible within 3 inches of the reinforcement marker. We're about to see that is not enough. You could probably put more in there. Now, I was reinforcing with 2 of the troopers, which is the weakest. If I was reinforcing with 2 of the mid-level ones, that might have made more of a difference. Now, I was randomly rolling, which I picked either the heavy or 2 of the troopers. But yeah, as we'll see, and this is kind of part and parcel of how the game operates. Okay. Oh, let's go back. Also, I did split Tyranids into 3 different groups. You can see on the left-hand side. And I did similar with mine. So I randomly assigned where they were going to drop. I randomly picked one of them and then rolled a d6, splitting it roughly into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 along the top. In the end, I got 6, 5, and 4. So they ended up deploying that way. That isn't quite right. They really should be all crammed over in the first half, but I kind of put as many into places that kind of made sense and then ended up spreading out further as we went. Similarly, we've got a bunch of guys down at the bottom. I do want to say here, you might be able to make out on that prime, he's got the wrong token. He's got an engage token rather than a conceal token when he should have concealed token. I ran out of tokens. And later in the game, you'll see that I actually took a break midway through and fetched out my old set of tokens and used those. That really gave me some context to how good these new tokens were. Everyone normally talks about the nice curviness of them and how they kind of slot in and they look good. That's neither here nor there. The old triangles were fine. The big difference here is the old triangles used orange to indicate that the player was ready and blue to indicate that they were not ready. The change is now that blue is that they're concealed and orange is that they have engage. So I think the color marker for that makes it a lot more obvious to see what is concealed and what is engaged, which is a lot more important. So I'm really, really happy. I didn't realize before that they'd made that change. And yeah, this one, the new tokens are great. I will be looking for another set of them somewhere down the line, possibly in the new starter box that's coming up. So that is something to look forward to. Okay, what's going to happen here? And we'll just say it. Oh, well, we've got some time, I guess. So I think I did record a little bit of the start. So you'll see me moving some troops around. So we're going to start off with one of the big guys. So that's a tough brawler. So it's kind of the mid-level ones for the Von Ryan's Leapers. So scary enough. But one of the things that I did do was I've given all of the trooper levels, so all the gaunts, have a group activation trooper. So anytime I activate one of the gaunts, I will then activate another gaunt after that. In this particular mission, that makes a big difference because with the troopers, with so many troopers that I've got on the board, otherwise I'd have constant counteracts. Even with that, I think we've got 12. So what is it? Yeah, so it's 5 and 5, 10. So we've got 13. 13 in total. So we're going to have 5 activations and then an extra from the gaunts. So that's 2 of each combined. And then another 3. So we'll be activating with 3, which will mean our Space Marines will get some counteracts. As we'll see, what is going to happen quite quickly is that they're going to slowly mow their way through. But this opening part of the game is all about moving around and conceal. The behavior chart, which I didn't change, so I've taken it as is, straight from the book. For the brawlers, they are just like if they can fight, they'll fight. If they can charge, they'll charge. If they can reposition towards the nearest enemy, they will. And then they'll dash. So initially, these guys are just gonna. This is everything except for the termagants. So all the melee bugs, they're just gonna slowly move up, or as quickly as they can move up, and try to stick in cover if possible. The marksmen, interestingly, are going to act differently. So they would try do the exact same otherwise, but because there are objectives on the board, they're actually going to stay back. They're going to reposition, if possible, to a position. So it's fall back, then shoot, and then reposition. So reposition is what they're going to be doing because they're not able to fall back. They don't need to. They're not going to shoot. If possible, to a location where there's a valid target that isn't obscured. They can't, though. So if not, they'll move to where an objective marker is visible for this MPO. So initially, they're all just going to stay there, I guess, and not do anything. I mean, they're going to be covering the objectives, which is fine. But in this particular instance, what it ends up doing is it ends up splitting up the melee and the ranged. What I'm actually going to try do is I'm going to try keep my firing line pumping away, and I have my melee fighters there to try finish things off. So I'm going to try shoot as much as I can, stay back, and then try engage my melee units with their melee units where they get. Ooh, I didn't mention what. So we are doing the Angels of Death. Obviously, the Angels of Death get to pick a bunch of things at the start out of the faction rules. So the faction rules I went for were aggressive. That gives them melee weapons rending, so it's an extra reroll, and dueler. So dueler is once per sequence. Whenever this operative is fighting or retaliating, one of your normal successes can block one unresolved critical success. Okay. Or one of your critical successes can block 2 unresolved normal successes. So that's the one I'm really interested in. And the reason I'm interested in that is because a lot of these fighters actually are hitting twice. So the troopers and the brawlers, so the Hormagaunts and Von Rein's Leapers, both automatically have 2 hits. So if I can get a 6 when I'm attacking them, I'll be able to parry both of those. They won't strike back, and then I'll get to do damage. Similarly, if I'm going toe-to-toe with that Tyrannid Prime, it has 3 hits. So if it attacks me, or if I attack it first, I'm going to be able to parry 2 of them, and then I will have to take that third one, unfortunately. But I'll be reducing the damage from 4 or from 8 down to just 4 when it's attacking me, basically. Is that both ways? So normally it would attack, I would parry, then it would attack, and otherwise I would parry, it would attack, I would parry, but I'd be losing some damage. Okay, and obviously this is slightly different because I'm rather than rolling what they're going to do, I already know how these MPOs are going to activate. But, this is what you kind of plan on averages anyway. But yeah, so aggressive and dueler, those were the ones that kind of came in. My Intercessor Sergeant does have the option of selecting an extra one because he's a chapter veteran. I didn't in the end pick up one for him, and I have to admit I was very, very poor at using CP. This was my second game, so I have played this scenario through once just to see what it was like. I played it with all of the brawlers having an extra automatic attack, so the troopers were they were doing 3 damage each, so 3 auto attacks doing 3 damage each. and the toughs were similar but doing 4 automatically. And then I had the turreted prime doing 4 automatic hits, doing 4 damage each. That was terrifying. So I think scaling that back slightly was the right place to go. Although, maybe we should maybe be reassessing after we finish up with this and see how this was. Okay, so we're playing our way through. Do I have anything else to add? Oh, yeah. So this is turn 1. We're still just positioning back and forth, putting things into play. So yeah, we've activated a few more. This is going to be a move and a dash. Getting into position there. I'm not sure why I didn't take a pot shot at the Von Ryan's Leapers, but I didn't. I remained in a conceal order there. I know when I was doing it, the reason I wanted to get into that position is because I wanted to be there for when the prime gets in. So next turn, I'm going to be looking at charging in. What else do we have? Okay. So we're moving some of our gaunts around. So those are Tormagaunts. Trying to get in position. So just moving in a conceal order behind the cover. And then this guy is doing similar. All right, there's going to be a lot of this going on. We're going to be going back and forth and back and forth. Again, we are still in turn 1. I do know we are going to get a little bit of action. And I'll show you where that happens. Oh, yeah, it happened here. Okay, so this is Dramaticus. So this is my Intercessor Gunner. So he is in position. We're switching him out to an engage order. And all right, and this is the highlights. This is what has kind of happened. Apologies for the bit of a shaky cam. So we've moved up our melee over there. Raziel, the Dark Angel, has taken up that corner. I did try get a shot on the far side. So there is a bit of a kind of an angled line of fire across the board. And I did take the shot. I did roll quite well. Can't quite get the angle, but you kind of see him up on the left. But I'd forgotten he was a concealed order. So yeah, that didn't help. On the other side, Brother Cameron did manage to pop 2 of the Termagants who had taken up positions down near that statue. And then we have Dramaticus, who got a couple of hits in. He did quite well. He took out one of the Von Ryan's Leapers. And and right now we've got Scipio in cover, still on that conceal order. So this is the end of turn 1. You can see we've got a little bit of action over here. The Tyrannid Prime is going to be questionable. We'll see how this goes. And then we've got just a clump here that are, if they can make contact, they are going to do a lot of damage. But the boys are ready. That is Raphael and Volsong. And you can see we've already got in 4 kills so far. So there is 13 in total. As soon as we hit that 50% mark, so that's 6 or 7, then we are going to get reinforcements, but we're not there yet. Okay, so yeah, this is the board as is. The initiative was rolled, and again, I'm assuming that the MPOs, the Tyranids, are rolling at 3. So just try and beat 3 every time. Luckily, in this case, I did. So Brother Scipio got to go first. So what he's going to do is he's going to switch to an engage order, and he is going to charge in and try to get that Tyranid Prime. Now, he is coming in with a power weapon, which is great. So that is 5 dice, hitting on 3 pluses, doing 4s and 6, and it's going to be lethal 5 plus. That lethal 5 plus is going to be incredibly powerful with the dueler and aggressive. So aggressor gives rending. I misspoke earlier when I was going to reroll. It's up the, if I get a crit, then it'll upgrade another one to a crit. So we can get tons of crits, and hopefully we'll be able to use that dueler ability to parry 2 of the attacks. So going into this, I know already that Scipio is going to be taking at least 4 damage. There's almost no way to avoid it. But yeah, that's close combat. Close combat is scary. All right, we've got some dice rolled. So yeah, it's 4 dice and no crits, but a bunch of hits. So what's going to happen here is we're going to parry one of the hits. then we're going to take one of the hits, then we're going to parry one of the hits, and then we're going to have 2 hits left over. And then they are going to end up doing 4 damage each, right? So it's a power weapon. So yeah, 4 damage each. So we're going to do 8 damage down, and we are going to take 4 damage back. Now, obviously, as a Space Marine, they're going to be able to attack again. So we're going to get a second melee roll in. All right, here we go for the second roll. Just off screen. So it looks like it's 3 hits. So we're going to end up doing something similar. We're going to end up taking another 4. So I'll bring us up to 8. And we will... I wonder what else I got in there. Either way, it doesn't matter, because another 8 damage is going to be enough to take down the 14 wounds of the marksman. So yes. So I'd already done 8. I think there potentially was a crit in there on one of those extra rolls. And that extra crit would have been a 6, which would have been enough to bring it to 14. So I think that's what's happened there. On the other side of the board, we have this. Yeah, I'm pointing at Volsong and explaining what just happened. So he lobbed a frag grenade in. So the Von Ryan's Leaper is basically out in the open, even though it's got a conceal. It's a clear line of sight. There's nothing hitting it. And then there's 2 of the gaunts next to it. One of the gaunts got immediately deleted. That's 6 damage on the Von Ryan's Leaper. And then there's another gaunt at the back that took a little bit of damage. He moved out a little bit and to get a position. Then he fired the grenade. And now he still has his bolt gun. So he has a bolt pistol. So I'm going to fire the bolt pistol. And so the Von Ryan's Leaper does automatically have 1 crit that is going to save. But I think the bolt pistol for Assault Grenadier has piercing crit 1. So it's going to reduce his potential saves. And because of the way we're playing it, it essentially is going to reduce it by 1. And yeah, it's just the damage is just going to delete him. So that's a bit of a weird one. Piercing would normally only reduce your number of dice rolls. So you're rolling 2 dice rather than 3 dice. But here, because of the way we're simplifying things, it essentially is doing it's doing extra point damage, or it's removing one of the saves. So there is that. But yeah, like really good here. We've cleared out a chunk of things. Tons of stuff has been cleared, which does mean that at the start of turn 3, we are going to have more things blowing. Now, you can see I have started moving things up. Oh, and yeah, on the left-hand side, so there is 1 Hormagaunt currently in combat with Battle Brother Scipio. What happened there was 2 behind the Tournament Prime, and they ended up charging in directly afterwards. So they're going 2 damage, 2 damage. So I think he's currently at 10. He's taken a bit of a beating. He is going to be... he didn't manage to take down either of them, but one of them actually got the counteract, because they're actually so low that they're now the ones who are going to be counteracting. And that counteract did a little more damage, bringing him to 10 total, but did end up in it getting splattered with his Parax. That's me rolling for initiative, I think, is it? No, I'm deploying more guys. So I think that is 2 small guys, 1 big guy, 1 big guy. And we dropped the big guy. So new Tyranid Prime coming in at the top left. As you can see, I've got great board control. This isn't really a problem. I would have preferred it with some of the smaller guys. We'll be dealing with it. So what's going to happen here is Scipio is going to finish off that Hormagaunt. Then he's going to back away, because at 10 wounds, he's in danger. So he has another 5 left, but the Tyranid Prime is doing 4 damage on each hit. So that's pretty scary. But we are at the point now where we're going to be trying to score objectives. Just a matter of getting on. So yeah, we've got Raziel. No, not Raziel. Raziel's the bottom. So who do we have? So it's Cameron right beside that 1, and Dramaticus is closer. So he's going to be passing over towards 2. And then we'll probably have Raphael or Volsong move over to it. Okay, so we won the initiative for start turn 3. What's after happening here is did we? We've done a few things here. A few things have happened. So yeah, the Tyranid. The first thing we did was we backed away with Scipio, and then the Tyranid Prime moved into position so it could angle up something. It wasn't close enough to be able to charge anything, but tried to retain that cover. Dramaticus is after clambering over that down statue, getting into position, and now he's lined up a pretty good shot on that Tyranid Prime. We gonna see some dice roll? We might see some dice roll. So he does have his crack grenade, and he does have his. He is armed with an auto bolt rifle. All right, so we're probably going to be running the crack grenade first. So the Turnip Prime does automatically get 2 saves, and will be. So I think that crack grenade probably didn't do anything. Did it have piercing? And then that second roll is definitely going to be with the auto bolt gun, which doesn't seem to be doing much. So let me go back to that. Crack grenade. Crack grenade does a piercing 1, so it would have reduced the number of saves from 2 to 1. Again, we were talking about that. The piercing is a lot better in this particular variant than maybe it should be. But I mean, on average, it's about right. It simplifies things. So we got some damage down on it, but I don't think we managed to actually kill it yet. And here we have Brother Cameron. So he is moving up to tag the objective. So that's just a straight move and a activate. So that activate ability is something coming with the mission. And then if I move over here, we can see Volsong has moved closer. Raziel, in the start of the next turn, is about to. No, he has just charged into a Hormagaunt who has spawned on the. He has just murdered a Hormagaunt who has spawned on the right hand side. So yeah, he's going to take a little bit of damage, but he's just going to cut it down almost immediately. Then we're going to see Volsong move onto the objective, and actually here, I think, yeah, Brother Cameron is already in melee. So he moved up, took the objective, and then the Turnip Prime did end up charging him. So that's on the top left. I mean, at this stage, we're just counting numbers. Volsong is going to move in position. Volsong is going to take an action and is going to cap that last point. I did want to play out this battle, though. You can see a ton of damage has accumulated. So, and then Volsong checks the objective. And I wanted to go back here. I wanted to see if Dramaticus was going to be able to take out this Tyranid Prime at the end. So this is going to be fists, 4 dice, looking for 3+, doing 3s and 4s. So this Intercessor Gunner, even as a melee, is pretty good. So yeah, that crit's just going to do 4 damage straight away. And if I can read it right, 5, I think it's at 9, is that right? And it's got 14 wounds in total. So Germanicus can basically take 1 hit for 4, which I think brings him to 10, and then do 7 damage back and take the Tyrannid Prime out. And that's the battle. That is us done. So, what did we think? Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was a good game. I think it was a little simple, maybe. I think a lot of what interests me in these solo games is the scenario. And I don't think this scenario necessarily offers us too much. So maybe that's something where we can expand, where we can play around, where we can do additional things. That is basically my big criticism of it at the moment. And that's kind of on me. I need to set up interesting stories and play them through. Apart from that, I'm pretty happy with how the static saves and damage worked. It simplified things slightly for me with less dice. It let me focus on just dealing with my side of the board and not worrying about the other side. So, yeah, if this is something you're interested in, try both sides. Try rolling those dice on the other side. Like you just need to make sure you got 3 dice of a different color. So if you're always rolling red dice for the attacker and 3 white dice for defender, you're going to be consistent. You're going to be able to work it out. But I did find it takes an extra little bit of calculating and working out what's going on. As I said, I really enjoyed the book. I didn't get the big box, but I did get the hardback book. So I've really liked the new tokens. I've really liked the new structure of the book, which made it a lot easier to pick things up. So yeah, well, I will look at doing a few more missions and kind of plot out what I think will be interesting, because it became clear to me, at least in this, that the way to approach it was to sit back, wait, clear the board. The reinforcements just weren't enough. I think maybe what we needed to do is spread those objectives out further, up the number of respawns. So yeah, maybe and maybe have the Tyranids focus on the objectives, be a little bit more active on controlling. Anyway, yeah, we're getting into to nitpicking. I wouldn't recommend the other two unless you're. Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend the other two. So breach is just kill, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. But I don't think it adds too much to the experience, unfortunately. And then escape is just getting things off the board. So yeah, I'm quite happy that, or I'd be of the opinion that Sabotage is the best out of all these. You can play it as a kill mission with the way it currently is, because you're just not getting enough reinforcements to worry about it. Once you lock down the board, then you've got your security. You can start performing those mission actions to win the game. Right, I'm starting Ramble. As I said, a lot of fun. I think I'll be doing this a lot more. Maybe not necessarily recording it. It does add a little bit more, even though, as you can see, I don't go for all the bells and whistles that a proper battle report would have. This is more of a commentary and a couple of pictures. Sometimes they move. All right. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Tell me what you thought about this. Tell me what you thought about the alter rules, this particular scenario. Is this something that you think you'll enjoy? What can I make to help you get out there and play this? All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Have a good week, everyone, and yeah, check in soon. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Each week, I put up a new video talking about one of Games Workshop's specialist games. The goal is always to try and make the best possible two-player experience. If this is something you'd find interesting, please subscribe to the channel and comment to let me know what you'd like to see in future.